This video contains creepy and disturbing content. Any material used in this video is for educational and reviewing purposes under fair usage. No copyright infringement intended.
The internet is fascinating, isn't it? There's ads, memes, cat videos, porn, social media, all kinds of stuff. But the internet also has a dark side to it. With its paranormal sites, stupid pop-up videos, those suicidal flashcard videos, and creepypastas. Creepypastas are scary videos, urban legends, made to disturb the reader, usually with demonic beings or lost episodes. And today, I'm going to count down my top 10 scariest creepypastas. Number 10. Lavender Town Syndrome. When the very first copies of Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green came out, many kids ended up committing suicide or being sent to the hospital. This is because of the city called Lavender Town and its strange theme song. It was high-pitched and very discomforting to the ears. According to the Creepypasta Wiki, due to the Lavender Town, at least 200 children supposedly committed suicide and many more developed illnesses and afflictions. The children who committed suicide usually did so by hanging or jumping from heights. Those who did not act irrationally complained of severe headaches after listening to the Lavender Town's theme. And yes, the theme actually does give me a headache after listening to it for too long. Creepy and disturbing, the Lavender Town Syndrome is a story that won't be leaving our heads anytime soon. Neither is the tone. Number 9. Ever dreamed of this man? In January 2006, a psychiatric patient draws a picture of a man who has been visiting her dreams and giving her advice. Sometime later, a guy visits the same psychiatric, sees the same drawing, and recognizes the same man as one who visits his dreams as well and gives him advice too. Intrigued, the psychiatric sends the drawing to his colleagues that have patience with recruiting dreams. Within a few months, 4 patients recognize the man as a frequent presence in their own dreams as well. These patients don't know who this guy is and just refer to him as this man. Since then, 2,000 people have reported seeing this man in their own dreams, and there are no clear connections or relations between these 2,000 people. Alright, look at this guy and his eyebrows. It's just creepy as hell. How are people dreaming of him? Or even falling in love with him? I fell in love with him from the very first time I saw him in my dream. Even though if I think about it, I must admit he's really ugly. And yet, each and every time, he sweeps me off my feet with his romantic gestures and sweet words. He buys me flowers, jewelry, he takes me out to dinner, or to the beach to watch the sunset. But if you're actually planning on sleeping tonight, be prepared to see this man in your dreams. Number 8. Username 666. What happens when you search up username 666 on YouTube and keep refreshing the page? Well, according to this video, YouTube's background will continue to get more hellish and look more evil. All the text will be replaced by 6s. and you'll eventually be shown a link to a channel called 666. If you visit the channel and click on one of his videos, you won't be able to escape. You can't pause the video, mute the video, exit YouTube, or even shut down your computer. You'll be trapped as username 666 infests your computer with viruses, causing serious damage. Just a reminder, these stories are just stories. They're not real. However, if you're willing to take the risk of letting this thing into your system, go ahead and try it. But that's why it deserves to be on this countdown. Number 7. Marina Mortegard Gleskarv. There was once a video on YouTube called Marina Mortegard Gleskarv. If you search for it now, you probably won't find the original video. Instead, you'll find a 20-second video of a man staring at you until the last 2 seconds when he's just grinning at you. The original 2-minute video was removed after viewers who saw it gouged out their eyeballs and mailed them to YouTube's headquarters in San Bruno. It was also reported that many people who saw the video ended up committing suicide in various ways. However, to silence the rumors, YouTube decided to upload a 20-second version of the video so people wouldn't go and look for the real thing. He is now under constant sedatives and is unable to recall what he saw. It's just his face. His goddamn face is what scared me beyond repair. And it's personally one of the scariest creepypastas and one of the scariest videos I've ever seen. Number 6. SuicideMouse.avi. Suicide Mouse is an old, lost episode of the classic Mickey Mouse cartoons. The episode shows an endless loop of Mickey Mouse walking, looking disappointed and sad. A distorted piano tune can be heard playing in the background, soon to be replaced by just static. The episode then cuts to black for a couple of minutes before it resumes. This time, you can hear a deep growl or cry as if whoever is making that cry is in pain. Then you hear very disturbing screaming from a woman who's being tortured or something. It's extremely disturbing to listen to. The buildings in the background start to distort and blend, and you can hear both the scream and the growl. This video also led people to, you guessed it, commit suicide because of its disturbing, dark content. I know it sounds weird, but you should check out the video for yourself, if you dare. Number 5. Russian sleep experiment. Russian researchers in the 1940s kept 5 people awake in chambers for 15 days using experimental gas. The 5 test subjects were political prisoners who were enemies of the state during World War II. They had books, a place to lay down but not to sleep in, running water, a toilet, and enough food to last them months. Everything was fine until 5 days in, when their conversations, which were monitored, started to grow dark. The subjects also developed severe paranoia. After 9 days, the first of them started to scream to the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. They began to go insane, and days later the researchers decided to open up the chambers. However, the 5 test subjects no longer wanted to be freed. After the 15th day, the subjects were freed and the gas was replaced with nice fresh air. But the subjects were pleading and begging the researchers to turn the gas back on. The subjects were taken out of the chamber to be further researched on, when the commander in charge of the experiment demanded them back in the chamber. However, one of the researchers pulled out a gun and shot the commander. He then shot all the subjects, except for one. The researcher asked, "What are you?" The subject replied,
Have you forgotten so easily? We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to a nocturnal heaven where we cannot tread.
The researcher had enough and shot the subject. His last words were,
So nearly free.
Number 4. Gateway to the Mind. In 1983, a team of scientists theorized that a human without access to any of his senses could perceive the presence of God. The scientists believe that our senses clouded our awareness of eternity, and therefore without them, we could actually establish contact with God by thoughts. The test was done on an elderly man who claimed he had nothing left to live for. The surgeons removed all of his nerves that were connected to his brain, including his eyes, nose, tongue, ears, and every receptor on his skin. He couldn't communicate with the outside world in any way. He was alone, only with his thoughts. While being studied, the man cried that he could hear his dead wife trying to communicate with him, and that he can communicate back. The scientists weren't convinced. They just thought that he was going crazy. Until the man started naming dead relatives of the scientists too, including names and other personal information. The man became overwhelmed with dead voices in his head until he reached the brink of insanity. And even though he was blind, he stared directly at one of the scientists. He said, "I have spoken with God, and He has abandoned us," before dropping dead. Number 3. Slender Man.
You guys all saw this coming.
Slender Man is a bizarre entity, said to be 8 feet tall, able to teleport, and has long tentacles on his back. He is a humanoid figure with a blank, expressionless face, and is usually seen wearing a suit. He has a strange fascination with children. If Slender Man gets you, you'll either end up in purgatory, where he'll stalk you forever, or death. Oftentimes, Slender Man can only be seen through a video camera. However, if you try to videotape him, static or distortion will appear in your video, and then he will teleport to you. Victims of the Slender Man have damaging effects to their physical, mental, and social careers. They develop mood swings, memory loss, constant irritation, and loss of communication between family and friends. Slender Man is one of the most mysterious creepypastas and still frightens readers today. Number 2. Ben. I love love Zelda. It's like my favorite gaming franchise. One of my favorite Zelda games is Majora's Mask. It was dark, edgy, depressing, thought-provoking, and had a kick-ass story. Ben is represented by a Link statue, who is used in Majora's Mask. He lives inside the game and is able to interact with the player and taunt him so long as he plays the game. What makes the Ben creepypasta especially terrifying, other than the fact that I love Zelda, is that there's actually gameplay footage of Ben and Majora's Mask. So, who is Ben? Well, the story begins with a guy under the username JadUsable, looking around some garage sales hoping to buy some Nintendo 64 games. He comes across a really shady looking cartridge of Majora's Mask, who's given to him for free by the previous owner, a strange old man. The old man says that the game used to belong to a kid who doesn't live there anymore. Satisfied, he thanks the old man and heads home to relive his childhood. The game already has one save file called Ben, who JadUsable keeps in respects to the previous owner.
Not like he's gonna need 2 save files.
What happens afterwards? A ton of stuff. The game gets really glitchy. A lot of text is either mixed up or says things that they shouldn't. The NPCs would call JadUsable Ben instead of his name. And JadUsable himself would get haunted and tortured by this Ben entity. JadUsable even claims to talk to Ben through Cleverbot. This creepypasta has overwhelming evidence suggesting that it's true, including the gameplay videos, the 5-part storyline, which is like 2 hours long altogether. People have even reported asking Cleverbot about Ben and getting strange answers. For any Zelda fan, or anybody who wants to hear a really scary and convincing story, Ben is the one for you. Just be warned, the ending of the story has a really terrifying plot twist. And my number one scariest creepypasta is Jeff the Killer. Oh my god, that fucking face! Look at it! Look at it! But what's the story? To put it shortly, a boy named Jeff and his brother Lou were picked on by these 3 bullies. Jeff, trying to defend himself and his brother, fights back, going so far as to stabbing them. The next day, the cops show up, knowing about the fight, and they take Jeff to juvie. However, his little brother Lou confesses that it was him stabbing the bullies, trying to protect his older brother. Louis is sent to prison, and Jeff is mortified with guilt. Sometime later, the bullies come back for Jeff, and a huge fight breaks out between the bullies and Jeff. During the fight, Jeff ends up on fire with alcohol and bleach all over his face, which explains his fucking face. Just look at it, for God. Jeff ends up going insane, killing his parents, and running away on a killing spree. The last thing Jeff the Killer says before he kills his victims is, "Go to sleep."
I can tell you one thing. I'll never forget that face. Those cold, evil eyes. That psychotic smile. They'll never leave my head. Police still are on the lookout for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in the story, please contact your local police department.